There we go. And these winglets actually steer. And yeah, I'm going to go with a full 4. Now we're really got like lawn dart style stuff. That's going to be okay. I guess I'll leave those on there in case we land in a different biome. And I suppose I could really go with some mystery goos. Yeah, even a few of them. If I hit R, then I'll get mirror symmetry instead of radial, which is nice. There we go. Yeah, people are concerned like center of mass. Goodish. Center of lift, well, or thrust. Because these darts here that are going to be adding drag are behind the center of mass, it should add stability. And these can actually steer. So they're not just about adding drag. So this should be tons of maneuverability, hopefully. Listen, we didn't die last time. Could possibly go wrong this time. But now, we can actually save a bit of money, especially how much fuel there's going to be left in this bad boy. Let's go ahead and give it a parachute over there. And, yeah, as long as we're not going too fast, opening both of these at the same time should be perfectly okay. All right, let's try it. Boop, 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 boop. I won't use the mystery goo now. Well, you know what? Actually, hold on. We're going to do the mystery goo. We're going to keep the data. We'll recover the vessel and then instantly launch again. Might as well. Remember the heat shield? No, I don't think we're going that high. Although, we can put the heat shield down. You know what? As a backup. Sure, why not? And actually, I could unlock another science category here, but that's okay. Just in case, we'll add the heat shield. Because that does give us the option now of going much, much, much higher. SAS, turn on. Full throttle, turn on. Launch. More mystery goo. Keep. 100 meters per second. Roll. Yeah, this is it's really pushing to one side. I don't understand. These control surfaces are doing... Is it because I rotated the ship that time? I don't know. Alright, slow down. We don't want to burn up. Why? This is not turning the right way. Oh! I forgot! I rotated my ship, so east is here. That's why I keep getting confused. Not launching the way I expect. Okay. That way. There we are. Speed is stable. No heating effects. Alright. That's what because I'm used to hitting D for my rollover, but I'm twisted the other way around. That was a big part of the problem last time. Alright. Atmospheric pressure scan. Let's keep that. Crew report. We're going to keep that. Temperature scan. We'll keep that. Actually, some of these should be transmitted so I could reuse them. Let me bring down the speed some more. Mystery goo we do have to keep. Review report. Transmit. And there's our fuel. Review data. Transmit. Review data. Transmit. Okay. Alright. That's best. Should be like this. Is there any reason not to drop my other stage now? I don't think so. That goes, well, that, yeah. Although, honestly, I might just be able to land my entire stage together like this with both parachutes, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, that was weird. There's two... Oh, it's because I changed my staging around. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to face myself roughly retrograde. I'm going to keep the SAS on. I do have enough power for it, which is good. Because I'm not sure if we're aerodynamically stable or not. So we're going to do that. And we're going to hope that we air brake enough, because right now it'll tell me that the chute would be risky to deploy. I may have built up too much lateral speed for this re-entry. I probably should have just killed the engine sooner, or something like that. We'll see how it goes, because I really want to be below 250 meters per second when I deploy my chute. Now, we are in a fairly flat trajectory. In the new system with the new heating model, if you come down too steeply, you will be effed. I mean, maybe drogue chutes can handle it, but there you go. I'm going to try to stay. Oh, that parachute got destroyed. Of course it would. Of course it would. Because I was going too fast. So I'm uneasy about taking off the SAS. So I'm going to keep myself facing mostly retrograde. We are burning up some speed. Heat is fine. The heat shield was not necessarily required, although, you know, safety first. Speed is dropping. And again, if I look here, it'd be unsafe. My chute would get ripped off. But as soon as it hits around 250 is where it looks like it is okay. But it takes a lot longer to slow yourself down now. The chutes by default do open up fully at 1,000 meters now instead of 500, but it really needs it. All right, turn off the SAS. You're fine now. Whew! So aero braking was good. Don't need any special air brakes or anything specifically. There you go, full deployment to the chute now. But it opens up slower. See, it's not fully open until about 200 meters above the surface here, which is crazy sauce. But we're going to be going plenty slow. Hopefully, not enough to damage these experiments. I'm hoping they can survive an impact of about 7.5 meters per second. I think they're okay. What mod adds electric charge? Electric charge is always there in the game. But the TAC life support mod adds a requirement that you have electric charge to run your life support. And so all of the command modules include more electric charge than they used to because a lot more burns it. And we can get some more scans over here. I guess we'll just keep it. Turn on the SAS so you don't roll over, because we might want to EVA there. Although if we EVA, will it roll over then? I guess it's fine. We can just rescue everything anyway. Keep. EVA, go, and board. I don't know why it's prompting me for another EVA. We're all right. We got it. Recover vessel. Okay, successful flight. Completed the mission to do a manned flight over 18K. The first time it failed, but we didn't die. We bailed appropriately. It's good. Because I have it set up that even my super Kerbals will not respawn. Lots of science. Let's take some more stability. And then we've got the ability to buy one thing from the next level. I'm tempted to grab the basic science one because it'll give us 2 more experiments. It'll give us the orbital telescope. It'll give us the altimetry sensor, although we really have to get into pretty aggressive orbit for that to work to satisfaction, which we may or may not be able to do. It gives us solar panels, which means now getting an extended orbit becomes valuable, or even leaving a satellite in orbit to give us a connection. It also gives us the reflectron, which is the first dish antenna. On the other hand, it is hard to get into space and into orbit without, say, the Terrier engine, which is really nice. We don't need these other decouplers. Nothing else here really matters that much. The Terrier engine is really nice for space maneuvering, although I'm probably thinking ahead of myself right now. We haven't even gone into orbit once. We just kissed space once with a probe. Do I need general construction right now? No. A lot more stuff in it. Lots more different connectors, which is good. Aviation? No, we're good. Flight control. This allows us to add the MechJeb case on it, which basically is just a probe core. MechJeb thing is just a different probe core that you can slap onto the side, for example. Inline stabilizers? Maybe. And then the first command module, which is another way for us to sort of launch into space. I mean, we've got the other one. I think if I do a manned mission to space, I will probably actually use the Mark 1. Yeah, at some point I'm going to test Kerbal construction time. I haven't dabbled with it yet. It's not particularly relevant at this stage because we're only launching one at a time, but it's more relevant later on. I think I'm going to grab the basic science because more science is always good. Oh yes, we get the Science Junior as well. So lots of science options over here. All right, let's take a look at our missions. We still have orbit around Kerbin, which I would like to do. Does not have to be manned. We can test the command pod at the launch site. Actually, what's interesting about this is it would also give us access to the command pod if we want to use it and be sneaky. I think I'll just do the test. It's okay. We're going to unlock it soon. We'll take a few of these. Just a little bit of extra money because we need to upgrade some stuff soon. Hey, Corb, thanks for the sub. Yeah, 99 stars. We've just unlocked solar panels. We've got the basic flat one and the 3x2 extendo ones. Not the 6x1s, which is interesting that they're slightly different. Okay, so we're not going to use this. Well, actually, we're just doing a little test. We're just literally just going to test the command pod here. And while we're out there, let's throw on new science experiments so that we can get a study from the ground here, which is just going to be the Science Junior, actually, because we've done everything else. The orbital telescope does not work in the atmosphere at all. Hey, Fractured Moonlight, thanks for the sub. Welcome to the party. I'm going to try, you can, as far as I can tell, you can't do it in-game, but I'm going to try to edit my saves so that Kerbals are named after subscribers. So stay tuned for the Let's Play for that. So we can do the material study here. Rather superfluous. But we test to make sure it works. 7.2 science, nothing to sneeze at. And we can run the test on the command pod, completing that mission, getting a few more bucks, and a little bit of extra science, 1 point of science, which is something. And we'll recover the vessel. Yes, they did make the Science Junior smaller. Centillionaire, thanks for the sub. I think they made the Science Junior smaller and the goo pods bigger. I'm not sure. Maybe the goo pods are the same size. Okay, not enough science to unlock something new, but that's okay. We will test the Terrier at the launch site. Sounds excellent. Actually, if we had more room, it'd be nice to like grab more of these tests in one go. I guess if I did have construction time, then it might be a little bit more relevant. Sorry, what was, oh, the Terrier. Oops. Throw it on there. It doesn't have any fuel, but that's fine. We're just pushing the button, make sure all the valves open up the way they're supposed to. Oh, right. I forgot I don't have access to that control pod anymore. There, just put the Probodobenine and the Terrier in Wreath. And go. We'll just launch a little bit of extra money. So all the ones that you get to launch or test at the ground, awesome. And boom. That completes the mission. You don't get much money. And because they're boring, I will skip ahead at this point. We'll do something else. Between missions, we'll probably... I might farm a few of those. So at some point, we do have to upgrade something. Mission control, upgrading it, which give us patch conics, which is pretty good. We don't need them yet, though, because we're not going to the moon or anything. In fact, you can go to the moon without patch conics or maneuver nodes at all. Upgrading mission control, or is that what you asked about? Oh, upgrade mission control. If we do that, then we can get multiple missions. We can go up to 7, which is really handy. We also need a level 2 mission control to be able to do flight planning, maneuver nodes. You need level 2 mission control, level 2 tracking. But we might want to save the money to upgrade our VAB, or more importantly, our launch pad, because especially if we want to go into orbit, we need a bit of a heavier ship. So I'm going to do an interesting flight at this point. Is there anything else that might be... No, we're not going to do this one because it's over a specific area. Okay, I'm just going to do my orbital flight right now. We're going to try. It's going to be tricky because we're going to use a probe for it. And what's tricky is, remember, we have a limited range if we take off, right? You know, you take off and you've got your nice little curve, you've got your apoapsis at the top. And the idea is at the top of your curve, at your apoapsis, that's when you burn to your circularization. Well, it's very easy if you do a really nice gravity turn where you're sort of flat to find out that your apoapsis actually is out of range or out of line of sight for mission control. So for this first flight, we actually have to launch a little bit more vertically than might be perfectly optimal for a gravity turn, but it will keep us within range of the science of the space center, which is good. We're gonna this thing's not coming home, so I mean we could send up a Science Junior and a goo pod and just transmit it and then later on get the full science, but I think I'm gonna leave that off. In fact, we sort of got science from everything. I suppose we haven't done the orbital telescope yet. Maybe we'll do that, because the rest shouldn't be required. Because we're not coming home. We can transmit it, but we're not going to get that much. Okay, we're basically just trying to get into orbit. So, we only have the swivel engine and some liquid fuel, or solid fuel. So, if we do something like the 400 tank, and the swivel, and the decoupler, and like the 800 and a swivel. Because this is a very light payload. 3,900 delta V. Close, not quite. Still has, you know what? Let's just use two 800s here. 4,600. So that should be more than enough to get into orbit. Should. Again, because we're having to go relatively steep, we won't get quite as much efficiency, but I think we'll be okay. I can put on maybe the bigger nose cone here. That's not bad. We might want some extra batteries and extra antenna. You know what will actually be quite important? This reflectron has a range of 1.2 million meters, which means we'll never be out of range of the Science Center, the Kerbal Space Center. The only thing that will happen is we can lose line of sight. There's nothing we can do about that, but that way we don't have to worry about running out of range. Yes, 3,900 is enough, but you're assuming a perfect liftoff and gravity turn and all those things, which... Listen, overkilling it, never a bad thing. Not when I'm at the wheel. So yeah, the orbital telescope is pretty big, is the one downside. Is it going to cause an annoying amount of drag on takeoff? I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Put on that side, that's our gravity turn side anyway. Hopefully it doesn't burn off. But we're going to try to keep our speed low. If we start to get heat effects, we'll just slow it down a bit. You know what? Let me actually use the full turny ones here, these winglets. They are heavier, but they'll give us a lot more control. Especially now that I'm going to be turning the way I think. You should use the fairing and have the antenna on the probe core instead. Maybe. This antenna is fine in the atmosphere. I mean, yeah, there might be a little bit of noise. Start deployed. Although it's deployed, but not necessarily active. It's weird. We could maybe do a fairing. Because I've got it, right? I wonder. Come on. Symmetry. If I do that, and then, yeah, just, like, jam this thing. Sure, on top that way. Take that away. Drop the fairing. Can I go wide enough? Yes, I can. Yeah, okay, that's probably better. Combine those two. Bottom stage. These two launch together. I could put a parachute on this to recover it, but I'm not gonna. And one of the reasons in my testing I saw, with the new heating model, if you decouple and trigger the parachute, and start the next stage right away, rather. That should be it. If you start the next stage right away, the heat from this can burn off the parachute like instantly. So it's fine with a bit of a delay. Like if I don't launch the next engine at the same time as I decouple, it's fine. But I really want the next engine to light right away for stability. Flectron is always active, except it's not. It says from the description that it is, but it's not. I've had to activate it time and time and time again, which doesn't make any sense. So we'll see. But yeah, all right. And we're not going with much gravity charge or battery charge, but these two engines both have alternators, so they will produce electric charge as we go. We just want to get into orbit, run one science experiment, and that's it. Complete the quest. All right. Yeah, I'll save it to unnamed just to say, but I think we're okay. Yeah, built-in KSP has procedural fairings as of 1.0. Okay, so we're going to set it to full throttle. We're going to use the flight computer again. We're going to start off in kill rotation mode, and we're going to get ready to pitch over to 80 degrees shortly. As soon as we hit about 100 meters per second, I always feel pretty comfortable doing that. So, and I'm going to try not to fly manually on this one. I will have to change the throttle myself for the liftoff, so to try to make sure we don't burn up. So let's go. Right now, thrust weight is 1.6, which ain't bad at all. Okay, 25 meters per second. Good stuff. Nice and stable. Feeling good. So our heading is 90, which is east, which is the way we want to go. We're going to pitch to 80 degrees, so about 10 degrees off of our vertical, which is going to be good. Speed is going up nicely. Not too intense. Hey, Woody, thanks for the resub. And there we go. That's about my target speed. So I'm going to hit the custom. So he's going to turn to about 80 degrees. You have to fight to hold that until the prograde roughly meets. That's a little rougher than normal. Actually, I think that the I would have been better without having these. Interesting. Let me just go to kill rotation as much as possible. Yeah, this is, I think I shouldn't have used these. Because I do have gimbaling on this engine, that is incredibly unstable. Could be a center of weight thing as well. Alright, let's get ready to do that. And maybe die completely. Oh, wow. Let me deploy that. It might be too aerodynamically unstable. Yeah, we're actually flying better without it. It was just too much of an air capture at the top. Oh, it's having problems with stability. Okay. So that was our simulation. I think on this step we're fine. I'm actually going to put a second one over here. So we actually didn't get high enough. And let me see if I can reshape this. The problem is, it's so close. I'm going to get a cross section that fits. Try a little bit more pointy. Alright, let's try another one. Yeah, the fairing, I'm not comfortable with the fairing. You know what? Let's try it without the fairing completely. I mean, this is not so bad. It's a little bit more aerodynamic, but it's still, it's huge. Hang on. Let's not assume we need a fairing, because we might not. Yeah, it's not an aerodynamic thingy at the top. Let me go back to this. This. And a nose cone like that. I'm willing to bet that flies better. Let's see what happens. Full throttle. Kill rot. Pre-program this in. And go. Actually got a science noise for a second there, which was weird. I mean, push comes to shove, our mission is to simply get into orbit. We might go and just ditch the science experiment. Okay. See how much smoother that is? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's actually the fairing. I was criticizing the stuff at the bottom, but I think it was the fairing that was mostly causing us to have way too much like uncontrollable drag at the top. Now it's good. So now we've done our turnover. Really all we want to do now is, well, I might still want a little manual control. Yeah, because I want to slow it down, because aiming towards the surface mode prograde would actually be the best way to avoid any sort of flippy-floppy. Let me go ahead, surface prograde for now. It actually might be, because ideally, if you've done your gravity turn well, or your initial rollover well, this is all you need for like the full gravity turn, is you lock onto surface prograde. I'm just going to keep killing my speed here so that we don't get any too many overheating effects. And too much drag, but I think we're okay. I mean, our thrust to weight is still like huge potential. Okay. And we're going to take a look at our apoapsis here. So we're going relatively vertical, more vertical than I would normally do. I'll go to 45 degrees now. Alright, we're going to be fine. Scary for a second. But I'm not going to go any more than that. Again, not a very efficient gravity turn, but I want to make sure that we're still mostly above the KSC when we want to do our circularization. All right, I'm going to cut engines now. Our apoapsis is somewhere going to be somewhere over 90. We'll lose a little bit of it, but that's okay. Go into, oh, we're in orbit mode already. So yeah, just face orbital prograde, which is good. And yeah, let me check my little antenna. See that? Status off. It's supposed to be on all the time. I mean, or deployed all the time or whatever. Maybe it doesn't want to use extra energy. No, I want to turn that on so that when I hit, 150 kilometers, I don't lose my radio signal. Because if I do, I will no longer be able to control my ship. If this yellow line breaks, I no longer have control over my ship. So now the thing is, at my apoapsis, I should still have line of sight and be within range. Well, yeah, because I'll be 95K up, but also to the side. So actually, it may have been out of range my normal antenna. But also, line of sight is important. I should still be there, which means I should be able to circularize and enter orbit. We're going to go ahead and use our telescope over here. It's actually kind of cool. It actually has a lens cover that opens up. We're going to transmit that because we're not coming home. Electricity is fine, and we'll generate some more soon. But yeah, I can toggle the shutter. Look at that. Click. Ah. Ah. Cool. Okay. We are 55 seconds to apoapsis. With this engine, we should have a decent amount of thrust. It shouldn't take us that long to circularize. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a test burn around 30 seconds left. And by doing that, the time to apoapsis should go up a fair bit. If it doesn't go up, then that means we definitely need to burn, because we may not have enough time to circularize. So we're just locked to prograde, and there we go. So I'm going to do that, and indeed it is going up, which is excellent. Why aren't you steering right? I guess you don't have reaction wheels. Yeah, barely any reaction wheels, so unless we're thrusting, it's going to be hard to actually keep it pointing straight, but that's okay. All right, let's try this again. Time to apoapsis is going up, so I'm actually going to throttle down a bit and try to keep that sort of stable and maybe even dropping, so that we're not raising our apoapsis too much. There we go. I mean, ideally, you start your burn at the right time so you can go to full throttle at your apoapsis. So now it's paused, now it's going to start going up, which is totally normal. But I don't really want it to go up. I don't want to get past my apoapsis because that means I won't be raising my peri appropriately. But there we go. As long as we're not going to get past it, means we still have time to burn. We still have time to circularize. I'm going to kill it completely. I'm going to get closer to the apoapsis. The closer I am, the more efficient. But again, I don't want to accidentally miss. And now we're most of the way there, so I should be able to go to full burn with like 10 seconds left. Get the most efficient stuff here. And now I actually don't care if it's really raising my apo, because mostly it's all peri. And I'm now orbital. I've completed my mission to orbit around Kerbal. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick save. I'm going to take a look at the map. You see, I still have a signal, and actually, if we wait, let's fast forward a bit, we will lose signal very soon because the horizon is just going to clip into us. So I did have lots of time, but there you go. I have had it like sort of screw up. Actually, I think what was maybe happening before is I was running out of range on my probe, and I didn't know I had to turn on the other antenna. Oh, I get a new observation? Space. Oh, but I don't have a signal. Like, I can't transmit. I should be able to hold on to it, though. And then next time I come back in range, I can do that. So I have no ability, like if I try to steer... Here, I'll go to full throttle. Nothing happens. I have no connection. I cannot send signals to the probe. But, quick save. Let's go to the space center. For some reason, you can still run an experiment. I don't know, I guess they're on their independent computer or something like that. Whatever, but you can't transmit the data back. So I'm going to see if there's a mission. If there's like a send mission from Kerbal in space, which would be nice. Actually, I can just leave that thing up there forever. There's no reason to rush back. So now that I've done this, I'm going to cancel some of these missions. And we should start to see some interesting ones. In flight, no. Point some dishes at either the moon or Minmus. That's a good one. And start to put satellites in orbit. These are classic sort of missions to put satellites in orbit, but these actually become very important with RemoteTech. Cancel that. Launch site, in flight. Launch site, good. In flight, let's go. Orbital survey of Minmus. Actually, that is going to be a really good mission later on. You're going to be here for, oh yeah, years. Excellent. Oh, temperature scans of Kerbal is over a specific area. Let's get rid of that. Now, what's nice about these satellite missions is they give you a crap ton of money up front, which is why I'm tempted to kind of run one of these. Equatorial orbit is a lot easier than polar. You need a bit more juice to do the polar orbit because we don't get to use the kickstart of the planet. Can you build a satellite array to bounce a signal? Yes, in fact, we are going to start doing that. I mean, we could do a manned orbit, but I don't have a mission for it yet. And I'm mostly going to try to follow missions as much as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this mission to position a satellite in equatorial orbit. It's going to be quite high. We're going to need a little bit more juice than the last time. And actually, we don't have enough science to unlock the Terrier, which is really a shame. Because we get a lot more delta V with a Terrier engine than a swivel engine in space. Because the Terrier is more efficient, and also I believe it's lighter. And point some dishes. Ideally, I should be able to combine these two. So tell you what, I'm going to take, I'll take one. And then I'm going to upgrade the mission control so we can have more contracts. And, oh, science data from space around Kerbal. Perfect. Give me that. Point some dishes at Moon or Minmus. Because the satellite I'm going to put into orbit is going to have a bunch of dishes. And I'm going to spend point 2 towards the Moon and Minmus, for example. I guess I could do a handful of testings. They do give me a little science, but not enough to write home about. I'll tell you, I'll test the launch stabilizer. That way I can actually use it in my current flight. It'd be nice if I had another test of the Terrier. I should have just saved the Terrier one. That's in-flight over. I don't want that. No, I'm not doing a solid booster in orbit. These two missions are really quite good. Expire in, like, matter of days? Really? I better take them so that they don't go away. I mean, they might come back if they expire. Where are we at? We're at 7. Okay. So, first things first, we have to send science from orbit. And actually, I want more science points anyway. Let's go back to my little orbiting spacecraft over here. Let's, quick save. Can I do it from this view? No? Oh, do I do it? I guess I can do escape. Mr. Harold, thank you very much for the sub. Let's just do that. Because changing spaceships can sometimes crash things. Hakovala, thank you very much for the sub as well. Welcome to the party. So let's switch over to our little ship. We're going to wait until it comes back in range of the KSC. And we already have a little bit of science because we just took an observation. So we're just going to fast forward. The red dot is our space center. And once we're around here, we should reestablish signal. I got power. I mean, it's draining a little bit. Now, if I lose power completely before re-establishing the signal, that will definitely suck. But if I don't, I can burn off my engine to generate some power. I think I'm going to be okay. I have a little bit of fuel left. I'll be able to light the engine to generate some power, send the science experiment home, and then basically blow this thing up. Its job was just to get into orbit. Once it's there, I mean, it doesn't have anything. I suppose if I did send it with a solar panel, we might be able to reliably resend that, but it's going to be fine. Okay, so we have a little bit of power. So tell you what, I'm still facing, I guess I still had this turned on. That might have been part of it too. I should have, no, because it wasn't, no, the flight computer was doing this even when I didn't have a signal. I should have killed this completely. That would have saved me power around the corner. Anyway, let me go and just put to kill for now. We're going to go to full thing. It'll raise our orbit, but that's okay. It's generating power, so let's review data. It's just hard to do when it was going. Transmit that power. Ooh! Not enough. We got halfway there, and then it ran out of juice and the fuel, so that's it. So that's okay. So this thing is just going to drift around space endlessly, except that we're just going to blow it up now. I don't know if that completed... It did complete the contract. Cool. Yeah, because you can send 0 science worth of stuff, and it still counts as a success. So we're going to blow this thing up. We're going to trigger the self-destruct button, send a new satellite up. You can deactivate and reactivate batteries without connection. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, but we're going to try to avoid doing anything like that. So, this thing served its purpose. In fact, it completed 1 extra mission than it was supposed to. So we're just going to blow that up. Boom. Clean up space. Excellent. Let's go back. Don't blow it up. Just leave it there forever. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short break to go pee. When we come back, we're going to do our satellite mission. Get into equatorial orbit, and we're going to give a bunch of dishes so it can point at the moon or Minmus. Oh, actually, we can get an extra mission here. Orbital survey of Kerbal. See, this is D-Magic. This is a lot better because it's not location specific. We have to run Mystery Goo, Material Study, Orbital Telescope, low orbit, high orbit. Well, if we get the goo in the Material Study on our way up, you know what? I'm gonna take it. Oh, it doesn't. We got a year to take it. Never mind. I don't remember which is which. Well, we got 13 days to take it. We're going to do this with maybe a manned one or something like that. Because the goo and the Material Study, it'd be nice for it to come back. Does it have to be the same ship? Actually, this only needs to be 2 missions. So when we send up our manned mission, it can get goo and Material Study from low orbit, and return it home. It'll complete at that point. All right, I'll take it. Yes, we're going to take a short break. I'm going to build a satellite that's going to go into that equatorial orbit, which is pretty distant. If we take a look here, it's a very, very high orbit. That's not equatorial, that's polar. Oh, did I take the polar one as well? This is the equatorial one. That's the one I'm looking for. Very high. In fact, it's beyond the moon. Fucking hell. But you actually don't need that much delta V to go that much higher. Once you're in a basic orbit, it doesn't take that much more to get into a higher orbit. Be nice with the Terrier, but we should be able to do it. And then we'll have a nice satellite position to get a lot of connections between other satellites, which is going to be nice. So, short break. Be right back. We're going to do that bad boy.